Do you know what you are paying your financial planner? You might be surprised. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of how financial planners get paid. Coming up next.
From the streets of San Antonio straight to your wallet, it's Jake's 2 cents on Jake of All Trades.
Hey listeners, welcome to another episode of Jake of All Trades. I'm here with Kirk Barbera, the Motley Fool. Welcome, Kirk. And we are today going to talk about how the heck do people like me get paid? Have you ever wondered that? Probably not, but I'm going to make you wonder now because I'm going to put all these ideas in your head.
Well, you're not only just how you get paid, but also how we pay you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
because
the ways you can get paid tricked.
What's that?
The ways you can get tricked.
The ways you can get tricked, yeah.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of shysters out there when it says how you can plan your money.
Yep.
Right? Like how to plan your money. It's like, go with me and I'll, not only help you plan your money, but I'll also help you invest it in this special thing that my brother-in-law is doing. And that will save you, or that will make you a billionaire. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street, right? Like they can sometimes say that they act as though they're financial planners as well as stockbrokers. That was part of the problem with, I think, a lot of what that show was like. It's like this poor guy and his, driving his little Toyota or whatever it was. I don't remember.
Right.
Like in this, Leonardo DiCaprio character is telling him how you're going to make more money. You're going to be safe with me. I got all this taken care of. And he was giving him, in a sense, financial planning advice, right?
Right.
Like not just stock advice, but planning. Like this will be the be all end all.
Right.
Right. So that's, you have Jake on one spectrum, one end of the spectrum, Leonardo DiCaprio on the other.
Yeah. Or we could say Bernie Madoff, right? That would be an even worse example.
Okay, so he's farther along.
He's farther along than that, yeah. So that's an interesting point you bring up because this is something where the financial services industry gets a really bad rap because of people like Bernie Madoff and because the nature of the business is overly complicated. There are products and services and stuff that these fancy people in suits are trying to sell you, and sometimes you need it and sometimes you don't. And the problem is that the barrier to entry to become a financial planner is virtually zero. Like anybody can call themselves a financial planner. You don't need to have a certification, unlike being an accountant. You technically have to have some licenses if you sell certain types of products, but there's nothing to prevent you from just going up to somebody and giving some advice. Yeah. And so that can be really dangerous, right? And then trying to charge for that advice.
Yeah.
So I have run across, and every time I have a meeting with a client, I always encourage them to dig deep and ask me, what is it that I'm paying for? What are the undisclosed? Are there any undisclosed costs that might be there? And help me understand how all of this works, right? So I would say I categorize this into like 3 buckets when you're working with an advisor or a financial professional. We'll just leave it at that, right? There's really 3 ways that they can be compensated: fee only, fee based, or commission based. Okay, or commission only. So commission based, commission only can kind of go in one bucket. And that's overarching the big umbrellas of the different ways that someone can be compensated. So the important question you need to be asking if you're interviewing a potential financial professional is, which one of those do you fall under? Because that's going to dictate how you, as the consumer, pay for his or her services.
Okay, so there's fee-based, commission-based. What was the third one?
Fee only.
There's commission, fee, and fee only?
Yeah, fee-based and fee only. There's a difference there. Yeah.
So explain those differences.
All right. So let's take fee only first. So fee only means that the financial professional you're working with is only allowed to receive compensation in the form of a fee. Now that fee can be assets under management, right? You have some money you want to invest. They invest that money for you and they charge you annually a percentage of the money invested. That's a management fee. That's how a lot of advisors get compensated. There's also what are called consulting fees or financial planning fees, and that's how I get compensated. So the difference there is that my target audience is not uber wealthy, right? Because they're young. We haven't had time to accumulate money yet. So the first way of having money managed and paying a fee on that money doesn't really work for my audience because they don't have a lot of money to invest yet, but they need some assistance with planning. So they pay me directly a fee for planning, and that's a financial planning retainer. So in that instance, that would be a fee-only service. There's no commissions being received by selling any specific product or service. Okay. Right? Makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you were managing $1 billion, is that what you're saying? Like if you're a financial planner and they were investing through you, then so you do more, but you do more than just investing.
Of course.
Right.
Right.
And you're not a stockbroker.
No.
Right.
Not.
Okay.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
So you don't give advice on stocks, for instance, but they can go through you to buy, like to have an investment portfolio.
Correct. And I can act as the portfolio manager for that money.
Yeah.
So I can decide where the money is invested. Sometimes it's individual stocks, sometimes it's mutual funds. But the key there, if you're operating in a fee-only environment, is that I'm not selling you a mutual fund where I get a kickback by selling you that fund.
So that can be a problem, or it sounds like a problem with incentives, right?
Exactly.
Because then you might incentivize your incentives is toward the mutual fund less than your customer.
Exactly.
And is that how you had the problem in 2008?
That was not the problem with 2008, but that's been a problem in the past,
yeah.
Right? It's been a problem. And so the financial services industry is trying to regulate those conflicts of interest.
Yeah.
But one of the ways that financial planners can set themselves apart is just by saying, I don't do that type of investing. I don't sell products that give me a commission for selling them.
Yeah. You do not.
So I don't on the investment side of things. Nope, I don't. Now, where I do collect commissions would be if I sell you an insurance product. So if we could put a plan together, and one of my recommendations is to buy some life insurance, I have the ability to write that life insurance policy for you if you want to. And if I write the policy and you buy it, I get a percentage of the cost of the premium for the insurance policy.
Okay.
So that would be how I receive, because if of those three buckets, the fee-only, fee-based, and commission-based, I fall in that middle category. So I'm fee-based. I charge the majority of my compensation is from fees, but then I do collect some commissions if I sell an insurance product.
I got it. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's not always a bad thing if you're the potential person you're interviewing collects commissions, because the next layer that you need to ask yourself is, okay, if you're collecting commissions from a specific product, do you work for that company? So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say you're talking to somebody that works for New York Life or Mass Mutual, and they're talking to you and they say, okay, it's time for life insurance. Here's what I can show you, all of these New York Life products. Well, what about the universe of products out there, right? When you go to the grocery store, you don't just have to buy Coca-Cola. You can buy a ton of different products you get to pick, right? So you need to ask the financial professional, are you obligated to sell me something that's contingent on who employs you? Because that can also be a conflict of interest, because that may not be the best product. It may not be the cheapest product. And there may be a sales incentive for that financial professional to be pushing that on you.
Well, so are there other indicators, like if I'm shopping around for financial services like this, are there other indicators that this is just a fly-by-night person or a shyster? Like what could we be looking for to make sure that they are legit and that they're not just messing with us? So one problem you just put was you ask them if they represent this company, right? And they're only selling their products.
Yep.
The other thing is like, well, what if they lie to you? Like, are there indications, or they don't tell you the full truth? It's like, what if he says something? Well, no, I can technically sell other things, or I could sell other things, right? And, but he does work for them, and maybe technically he could sell other things, but he never does. Right? You know what I mean? Like, how can
Interesting.
when it's your money, you want to be really careful.
Absolutely.
And it's really difficult to, know those things and to know who's legitimate or not, which I think is why a lot of people want the government to regulate a lot of stuff, because then we could say, okay, well, we know you have a license at the very least.
Right.
Right.
So there's two ways you could go about that. In the first instance, let's say you're working with that person that represents the company and they say, I could sell you other products. Make them show you. Make them give you a quote for another product. So if you're considering buying a life insurance policy and all they've shown you is a New York Life product, make them show you a John Hancock product or something else that's not New York Life. And then if the cost is cheaper with New York Life, okay, then maybe they are being objective in this. However, if they're not willing to show you, then they're probably making it up.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, thing is look at their credentials. You can have something that's called the CFP designation, or the Certified Financial Planner designation. It's a designation. I have it. Many other financial professionals out there have it. It requires years of education, several licensing exams, and continuing education every single year. That's a really important distinction between somebody who's a fly-by-night kind of guy and somebody who's actually doing this with the best interest of their client in mind.
Who gives that certification, by the way? Is that a government thing, or is that independent free market?
It's an independent, the Certified Financial Planner Board of Standards. So that's the institution that governs that designation. But it is the most highest esteemed designation for financial services. The unfortunate thing, unlike the accounting profession, which has a CPA, Certified Public Accountant, they don't require that CFP designation in financial services. It's just an extra bonus if you have one. They're trying to work in some regulation to require people who hold themselves out as financial professionals to have that designation. But right now, that's not a requirement. But it's something you can look for when you're interviewing somebody.
Yeah, so it's important to look for the CFP. How do we know if, because the danger is shysters, right? Like there's, I don't remember his name, but there is this guy, Jeremy something. There's this guy, I was actually trying to sell him some social media marketing production stuff in San Antonio. And, I go there and I just got this sense about him that he was a little bit of a shyster. Right?
Yeah.
He just had some weird things going on. And I wasn't going there for financial services. We were going there to make some kind of sale or do some kind of business transaction together in a trade or whatever. And I just got this weird feeling about him. And so I went home and I Googled his name, and then there he was in the orange jumpsuit of a prisoner. And
oh my
he had
God.
gone to jail for financial fraud for doing this kind of thing with, he was working for some big company and he was doing it on the side or something like that. So, that type of thing does happen, where it's like he was working for a legitimate company, but then on the side he was doing some fraudulent things. Now, I don't think he was just doing like CFP financial planning, but I think that was part of it, where he convinced people to give him their money, right?
Right.
So, I think he might have had a CFP, or he might have looked like he had a CFP, right? So, are there
He could have said he did.
What's
yeah.
that?
He totally could have said he did.
Well, that's
but you
the other
don't
thing. So
know
how
if
do
that's true.
can someone go look it up?
They can. So you did the right thing by just Googling his name. But sometimes,
Well, but the people who got him to prison, like they couldn't Google him, right? Like that's,
right.
Now you
So-
can Google this guy, but not
But
back then.
what you can do, if this person is saying that they're a certified financial planner, you can go to the CFP board's website and you can just type in their name. And if they don't show up as a record, they're not a CFP. It's as simple as that. So you can find them, and then you can also see disciplinary action. So if they've had cases that have settled against them, it's going to be reported. And then another place you can also check, if they don't have a CFP, let's say, because not everybody does, and I don't want to come off as though every financial planner that doesn't have their CFP is a bad planner, because I've known plenty of planners that are great. They just didn't have it because that wasn't the big thing at the time. What you can also do is they need to be licensed with FINRA. You can go to the FINRA website, and it's FINRA, FINRA. It's the Financial Services Regulatory Agency. And this is the government agency that oversees financial services.
Okay.
Every advisor that's licensed, and they need to be licensed, you can search there, and there's something called a U4. And the U4 gives you their entire work history since they've been licensed and even before. And you can see any potential issues that they've had that have been settled. If they've been reprimanded professionally, you can see all of that stuff just by looking them up on the FINRA website. And really, any financial website, including my own, there will be a place at the bottom of the website. It's called a broker check. You can search in that broker check, and you can immediately pull up that financial professional. If you go to my website and look at the bottom, there's a search box. It says broker check, and you can do it right there, and you can look up all of my history. Yeah, show it. So at the very bottom.
So this is Jake's website, by the way. So go check it out. There's a Get Your Financial Literacy Score Now. Just a little plug.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
See if you're ready to work with a planner. And now you've got all this great information to ask questions.
That way you know the planner's legit.
Exactly.
Because it's Jake. Okay, go ahead.
Did you find the place down at the bottom?
Yeah, broker check. FINRA, it's like a little box that you can search by name or CRD number.
Yes. So if you just search my name, Jacob, you got to go by Jacob because that's my legal name.
Wait,
Jacob Rivas.
Jacob with a K?
No, with a C. Jacob. Who spells Jacob with a K?
I don't know. Russians? I don't know. There are definitely Jacobs with a K. I mean, archaically, it was a K letter. C going from like certificate to a hard is actually a more modern switch. But
I did not know that. Well, mine is a more modern switch then because it's JAC.
Most people are. I'm just being a weirdo. Jacob George Rivas.
Yes, that is it. So if you click on my name, you'll quickly see what firm I work for, how long I've been working there, and if I've had any disciplinary history or any reports against me, any customer complaints, anything like that.
So it says Jacob George Rivas is both a registered broker and a Martian. Why does it say Martian? Martian.
So, I don't know. That's a new field. I'll have to research that one.
Are you from Mars? Okay, it says an investment advisor. There are no disclosures for this individual. I can get a full report, find out your date of birth, your address, the name of your dog, everything about you, right?
My social security number,
your credit card numbers,
everything. It's just all there. But in all seriousness, if you are thinking about hiring somebody in today's day and age, they need to have a website. And if they don't, you need to be able to find them somehow online. Otherwise, that smells a little fishy.
Yeah, but that box is what you need to look for on their website. If they're telling you, and if not, request it. Maybe they're just not, maybe they're like 75 years old and they're not electronically literate, but they're still a good financial provider. They should be able to get you that box. So you should be able to look up the box, look them up, and then find out if they're legit or not.
Absolutely. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think we've covered a lot, but the big message here is understand who it is you're talking to. Remember that money is such a personal thing, so don't just trust it with anyone. Mm-hmm. And ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions because no question is dumb when it comes to this stuff. The evolution of financial services, it's changed dramatically due to regulation, due to scandals. And so people inherently are skeptical, as they should be. Mm-hmm. And you need to be asking those questions. And the person you're asking them needs to be fully transparent in disclosing however they're being paid.
And that's probably a good way to, think about the whole process of interviewing somebody is if someone does start to get a little defensive or give you some pushback on any of this stuff, that should be a red flag to run away. Just stop right there. I bet we could even Google, or maybe this is something for a podcast in the future, like 5 questions to ask your financial advisor before you, go with them or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be great because it's something, it's just like when you're, getting a business partner or dating someone, you want to look for certain things. And if there's like red flags, like, oh, this person may be a little bit fishy or crazy, let's get out of this before it's too late. That's you want to know what to look for because some people can be really good especially shysters and con men and stuff, they could be really good at giving you the cosmetic looks that you want. And then if you don't know what to ask and what to look for when they answer, like, why is this person not, telling me everything? Why are they being pushy about this? Or why are they giving me pushback? Like there's something wrong with me for asking. Like it shouldn't, because that could be something I would do. If I were a con man, I would, try to make you feel guilty about even asking something like that.
Right.
And you
exactly.
shouldn't do that. So.
And you know what? I have something that we can attach to this episode and put it up on the blog. And it is the 10 questions you need to ask an advisor. So if you're interviewing somebody, we're going to put that PDF up there. Just download it because it's just objective questions that they need to be able to answer all of them.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
So,
That's very helpful.
Awesome. Well, message received. I hope all of you enjoyed that episode. It gave you some good things to think about when you're thinking about hiring an advisor. And the other message is don't wait to hire an advisor. Some of us are out there and our fees are relatively low and we're really good at what we do. So consider looking us up.
All right. And it'll save money.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, guys. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much for listening. And be sure to check out the blog at jakes2cents.com. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.